All right, everyone, welcome back. After show time, after show time. Bum bum ba da ba. Boom. There we are. Okay. Had a little bit of a behind the scenes whoops-a-doodle during that break. My computer almost exploded. It's okay though.
Almost.
Almost exploded. I don't know what happened. Like the Skype froze up after the drop, and then my mixer froze, and then nothing on my screen would move. So I was like, help. So we got it. It's okay. We're still here. We survived. We survived. Oh, goodness. Did you actually go put your leather jacket on?
I got told before, like after the first show, that Len would guild kick me if I didn't put it on, so
Okay.
I mean,
kind of in my best interest to...
It's how it should be.
Yep. No, I'm totally okay with this. It's okay. It's totally
is my
fine.
cat starring on the show again? Yeah,
Elliot.
so
There he is.
Yeah, so he is. He's hanging out.
That's fine. All right, well, we had a topic. Let me bring back up the notes over now. We had a topic that I had to smush over in the main show. That was, we kind of went over it in the main part of the show, but I wanted to go like how, and I guess Anna talked about it too. We didn't actually go through what all a Holy Paladin brings to a raid versus other classes, and how much valued they should be based on that, because we have Aura Mastery, and I know
we went through it a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say we went through it when we were talking about how a Holy Paladin heals with reference to the other classes in the raid, and why you would bring a Holy Paladin instead of those other classes or with those other classes.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, before we get the answer from the guests, which may differ from mine, but from my perspective, when you bring a Paladin to the raid, you bring a lot of utility that is very different from what a lot of other classes bring.
Yep.
Obviously, you bring a raid cooldown, but I think that those are likely to change quite a bit coming in Warlords. You also bring, it's really just the signature Paladin stuff. You bring Bop, you bring the ability to cheat your way out of certain mechanics. You bring good survivability as a result. You bring all of, like, Clemency is like one of the most overpowered talents that Blizzard has ever given any class. That talent is just ridiculous. That's the talent that lets you do... Huh?
Did they remove Divine Star?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I from a healer perspective, maybe Divine Star is more ridiculous, but I think that Clemency is a pretty broken talent. That's the one that lets you do multiple bops and multiple sacks.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's just a lot of external raid utility that a Paladin brings that no other class brings in quite the same manner, and that's something that is consistent across all three classes.
Yeah. But is there anything that comes outside of like raw spells? Do you get anything crazy from your like, what do Holy Paladins have for glyphs? Anything that matters?
No.
No?
No.
Not really, no.
That's terrible.
We don't have all that many glyphs
Glyphs
that
are
matter
pretty
either.
lame.
Yeah. That's
Our
too
talent
bad.
tree is awesome, but our glyphs are kind of lame across the board.
Yeah, is that how it... it seems like they almost have a wishy-wash between classes that get a lot of awesome talents but no glyphs, and then get really cool really cool glyphs, and like their talents are kind of lukewarm. So, but I have a couple questions.
I mean, I would ask these guys though for their opinion on that topic. Whether a Paladin, like I don't know what kind of healing you guys bring. If it's like you want really strong tank healing, then you still have to bring Paladins. If that's still true, I mean, what is it that a Paladin brings to the raid that other healing classes do not, besides the utility stuff that I've already gone through more than once?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty much, well, I would sum it up as like click and forget tank killing with the beacon, pretty much.
Yeah.
Click and forget tank healing. I like that term.
Yeah, and then really, really strong single target heals. AoE is okay if people are stacked up, but apart from that, other classes do it better.
Now, what is it that you use to AoE heal? Is that Holy Radiance and Holy Prism?
Radiance, yeah, and then Holy Prism or Light's Hammer, depending on whether they're stacked up, yeah.
Yeah.
Light's
Okay.
Hammer is such a fun spell.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I use it sometimes on my Prot Paladin Terrible ult, but I mean, that's about all I get to see. That's like once a week, maybe. But
And yes, Nobble has the right of it. The Double Wings glyph is awesome.
hey, you're a
Okay,
holy,
yeah, there is that.
holy
I would
butterfly.
also say that the Make Your Horse Sparkle glyph is another one of my favorites.
And don't forget Bubble Hearth.
Oh yeah, Bubble Hearth. You can't forget Bubble Hearth.
Okay.
So we have awesome like little whatever those little
Cosmetic?
tiny glyphs are. We have cool cosmetic glyphs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're in a guild where you've got to pay for your own repairs as well. They put like the instance right next to a hearthstone spot, so you can pretty much shut a hearthstone out every wipe.
I mean, I named the show "How to Bubble Hearth" for a reason. Good thing it came out. Good thing it came out. All right. A couple questions came in on the email that didn't get to make it on the actual show proper. I think this one's pretty cool. How do you feel about Proving Grounds, a Holy Paladin, and how far have you gotten? This comes from Starspieler. Starspieler EU.
Yep, he's been in the chat.
So have you... Henny, Peach, have you Proving Grounded?
This guy's really gonna expose how much I really play outside of Raid. At the end of a tier, I don't even know where it is.
You don't even know where the Proving Grounds are. Oh my.
I was going to say that that's very similar to how I treat Proving Grounds because I haven't done very many of them, but that is way beyond my laziness. I did them a lot on PTR. I just haven't done them on live. You don't even know where they are?
Nope.
That's fantastic.
Well then, good thing I didn't have that as a prerequisite.
What about you, Peach?
Yeah.
I did like up to gold on DPS and healing, and then I didn't really want to do it anymore.
You didn't try endless?
No.
Oh.
And the NPCs and the healing one were kind of annoying, so I didn't want to try doing endless with them.
Yeah.
They are kind of dumb sometimes. It's all RNG apparently too, because you can get really good, like endless runs as a healing, and then other times you just don't. So yeah. That's how I've heard. It's still a lot of fun though. Didn't someone like break it? Didn't some tank like break the thing? It like wouldn't spawn anymore or something?
I think I heard something about that. Yeah.
You could shadow meld like right away, and the mobs would just keep spawning, and you like they won't attack you.
Yeah.
But they would keep spawning, and they would count as new waves, so you could just stay there in stealth, and the waves would keep spawning until.
That's how the rankings got broken.
Yep, that's what I was wondering about, yeah. Unfun. Now, dang it. Well,
I have another question, Bae, if you want to just go back and forth.
Sure.
It was brought up in chat. And honestly, I'm so sorry, chat. I don't remember which one of you brought this up, so go ahead and call me out if it was you. But it was asked, what class would you play if you couldn't play your main class? It was actually asked to me, but I'd like to hear it from our guys here as well. If you couldn't play a Holy Paladin, what class would you be playing right now?
Warlocks, Henny, Warlock, no.
Well, if you want to be a healer,
True,
then you can't really play a Warlock.
Yep.
No, I don't really play any DPS class really. Like I'm just terrible at it. I don't know why. I'd rather just ignore most mechanics in a fight like a healer does. They just don't. There's so many things that you don't get to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I prefer it that way. Plus, what was I gonna say? Like
you should try tanking.
Yeah, no thanks. not with
you get to ignore lots of mechanics that way.
You do.
Yeah, but then my partner would be Lund, so that's not great. But yeah, I played Monk as an ult for a couple of tiers, and I didn't really like that. So now I'm probably going to go back to Shaman as my main ult into the next expansion.
Go back to Shaman?
Yeah.
What about you, Peach?
Probably a priest.
Priest?
Like that's what I have right now as my main ult, and they have kind of the same role, like as a healer, like kind of the holy healer. So I think that makes the most sense for me, and it's kind of fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you answer this question last week, Bae? I don't remember. What class
I would
play
play
if you weren't playing?
like a ranged DPS. I would probably go Major Warlock.
Yeah.
Just because hitting bosses' butts for like 6 years, eventually you're like, all right,
sucks.
Let's make some distance, okay?
Especially since you and I are. Well, you just came out of Paragons, and I'm still stuck in the middle of Paragons, so...
That fight is... I didn't...
After you spend 100 and however many wipes on that fight, you're like, I never want to play melee again.
It was just...
Get me out of melee range, please.
Yeah, that fight was weird, too, because it almost, like, clicked at one point, because our kill knight, we, like, two-shot it. We just walked in and killed it. It was like, okay. are we done with this? But every night before that, it was just like tooth and nail. Like, can we get?
Yeah, melee range is such a mess these days.
Oh, that fight too is a mess.
If I mean, different people have different perspectives on what they play in MMOs. Some people want to play a role and will play whatever class, you know, they don't care. Like some tanks are just like, I'm going to tank and I'll just tank on whatever. And some people are really attached to their class and some people don't care at all. And as you guys know, because I said it at the beginning of the show, I am very attached to my class. I love my Paladin. I like strength DPS that are kind of like holy protectors. That's kind of the thing that I like to play in games. You know, I play stuff like Dragon Age and I was a Paladin there too, or Paladin-esque. So I'm very, very attached to my Paladin, and it would take a lot to get me off my Paladin, especially because I thoroughly love 2 specs, not just one, but 2. I really enjoy Prot as well as Ret, so it would take a whole lot to get me off that one. But my main alt is my Elemental Shaman, and that's because the other thing that I like, the other archetype that I like, is the nature caster. Not just a caster, like not warlocks who are like the evil caster and mages are like your traditional caster, but I really like the elemental caster, like fire and lightning and nature and stuff. I just think like throwing a lava bolt is really cool. I never really cared about any other spec on the shaman, although I think that the healing being water-based is very cool as well, but elemental shaman is definitely another archetype that I really like, and so I think sadly, if I was to re-roll to ranged, as I threatened to do in the middle of Paragon's progression, I would go to my Elemental Shaman and get benched just as much because, LOL, Ellie's. But yeah. Also, Chain Lightning is fun. It's kind of the best spell ever.
It takes a special person to play Elemental Shaman though, because you have to really like throwing those spells because literally it's all you do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I love Elemental Blast. It has the coolest graphic.
It's a cool graphic.
Like. No, like, one of my good friends is an elemental shaman. He's like, oh, it's boring. And it is boring when the way that it fits into your rotation, I guess. But it has basically the most awesome graphic ever. So, I like the spell.
It looks awesome. So we'll go back and forth. Yeah.
So, Athro Waffle, there's the answer to your question. He asked me that like 5 times in chat.
So this was a really neat one. And it's got 2 parts. You can both answer. I'll go back and forth between both of you. The 2 questions. This actually came in from the lovable Nobble in chat right now, Nobble the Noble, because he is a fellow Paladin. He said, healing is the one role that I was never able to get into. So constantly watching health bars and the responsibility of keeping your team alive. What do you think makes healing interesting? And since healing only really starts at endgame, max level, what are tips you could give people to want to start healing and learn the role? Since you really don't, unless you dungeon grind, I guess, you don't really heal the whole way up there. You can't. It's super awful, though. Dungeon groups are, ugh. Like, so how would you guys tackle those 2 questions? What makes healing interesting to you? And what would you give tips for those who want to actually start healing and learning the role from the ground up? Who wants it first? No? Henny? Go for it. Peach, go for it. Sure.
Yeah. So, I like healing because, like, the responsibility of it. If you're a DPS, you know, there's, like, 5 to, like, 15 other people all doing the exact same thing you're doing. So, like, the importance that you bring is kind of reduced because everyone else is bringing it too. But if you're a healer, there's only, like, 2 or maybe 4 or 5 of you. So, if you're not performing, it's pretty obvious. The same thing's true with tanks too, but I just like healing more than tanking. The other thing is I like getting into healing. I think like with LFR and Flex, it's probably a lot easier now. Like you can make your own Flex group, and then like just kind of ninja switch to healing and see how you do. Like compared to the real healers, and then you know if you like it, you can keep working, and you can compare yourself to how they're doing.
Okay.
And then in LFR you can do that too. Then maybe it's not quite so easy.
Okay, gotcha. That works. Henny, what about those 2 questions for you?
I sort of fell into the role of healing because when I first started playing. I had some friends at sort of college and in school just before that. So I sort of joined their guild and they needed a healer, so I just sort of played healer and played healer ever since. Didn't really touch on any other class or raid role. But yeah, it's something I enjoy because I'm still playing it now, so you've got to enjoy it. I'm not sure, like the guy that asked, if you really don't like playing it, then it probably isn't for you, because it is a completely different game.
Yep.
It is pretty much, you're looking at that square box at the bottom of your screen, and that's it for the, like, obviously the mechanics and stuff. But
yeah,
like as far as rotation goes, that is what you just have to do. And yeah, I'd pretty much say what Peach said. Like now, before when I was sort of leveling up in like late vanilla and TBC, there wasn't really that much you could do to sort of learn to be a healer, because it's like 10 mans and then raids. So you're pretty much thrown in the deep end back then. But now you can sort of go into LFR and you can get lucky and have someone that can sort of carry the healing there, and then you can sort of like learn there. But that's, yeah, that's pretty much what I'd say, just to do that and get better gear and stuff. But I mean, the rotations aren't that complicated anyway. So I mean, just sort of look online, find the rotations, and then once you've got that down, using stuff on cooldown like you're supposed to, there's pretty much not a lot else you can do, and just get better gear, pretty much.
Okay, I mean, that's like the start of the show we built upon, because both Anna and I, we both were melee DPS, and we both love hybrids to that degree, and we always find it interesting what the mentality is, or the mindset to love just healing and not having it. To me, I don't know, do you feel like you have less of an impact on like the encounter, since you kind of just stand around, avoid stuff, and keep people alive? Or do you feel that that is like pivotal in how that works?
You kind of do. You're not really playing the same encounter as everyone else. You're still dodging the same mechanics as everyone else, but I don't know. Every pool can be different as well. If something happens differently than the pool before, then you've got to completely change what you did, beforehand. You can say take 10 to 15 wipes to get to know what the fight and what sort of healing it is and how hard it is and stuff like that, and when you need to use your cooldowns. But it's not like a rogue where you're like, okay, I know this ad's going to spawn in a minute, swap my combo points and blah blah blah, and it's the same every single pool because it's on a timer. It's like I could be hitting completely different people. Different people are selected for different debuffs this try than the other try, and stuff like that. So I think that's what keeps it interesting. If it was the same, okay, you're now going to heal the tank for 10 minutes flat, and that's it, then I'm pretty sure it'd get boring really fast. But yeah,
that's true. I understand that. What about you, Peach? How does it make you feel? Like, do you feel the same way or a little differently because you have a much more, at least you've had much more tighter knit feeling than that, because 10-man for this long time?
Yeah, so a lot of the time you're just kind of on the outside, and the actual strat doesn't involve the healers that much.
Yeah, very.
And then the other problem is, like, kind of with Vengeance, the tanks fall into the same category as DPS, so like it's everyone else does one thing and they have to know like when to target switch, who to target, and they get like assigned an ad, and then the healers are separate and they aren't involved in any of that.
Okay. Didn't lose you to die, that was it? I thought it didn't. Okay, we're good.
So you're not sort of involved in a lot of the strategy like making as well. I mean, sending people up on Black Fuse or the stun interrupt rotation on Garrosh first transition and stuff like that. You just sort of, okay, you get put in a raid, then you've got to wait sort of 10 minutes for all that to get sorted out, and then you pull. So you're not really involved in any of that, which is a shame, I guess, but that's just the way it is.
That's kind of a good point. Unless it's a fight that really incorporates healers, like, say, Sulong or Dreamwalker, Beck and Wrath. Unless it's like a healer encounter, then yeah, I guess that is a good point, that you don't really... That's a definitely different mindset you guys have to deal with, too, because you bring up Siege Crafter as a good point. because we were always thinking about like how do we deal with like the going on and coming off of the platform people on the conveyor belt rather, and we just kind of like threw our Mistweaver monk over there. It felt like go stand over there and heal people as they come off and go on. And that's all you do the whole fight.
Yeah.
And like that's a good responsibility, right? You got to keep your team members alive, but in hindsight, it's just like toss, get over there. But it's interesting to think about how I like the almost the what's like the mythos of being a healer in an MMO kind of works. This was kind of a did you have another one, Anna? I'm gonna go through the email real quick here.
No, but I've been telling people in chat to go to Ask a Boss at FinalBossTV.
Yep.
And
the link's down
I'll
below
repost
too.
The link because people are always like, how do I ask questions in the after show? And yep. As you guys can tell, I watch the chat really closely because I'm always like chilling with you guys. But I try to copy paste questions so that we can ask them later. But the best way to do it is just to go to that link that I've got in there and ask your question there, and then Bay's always got that pulled up, and he'll pull your question out of that.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, down below there's a button that says Ask a Boss. On the website it says Ask a Boss, and you can always tweet at FinalBossTV, and I always have the feeds pulled up so I can ask you. You can build it on the show. So 3 different ways, if you prefer. Before each show, act like I've said Boomkins are next week, right? So if you have Boomkin questions, or Boomkins in your guild that might have questions for Zoomkins and +1, submit those now. The earlier you submit them, the better chance it is to make it into the show or help build the actual archetype of the show notes. Because we want to pick a couple that actually work in the live show. Holy Paladin didn't work for that because a lot of the questions already were in the topics. But the ones that come in for after the show, that's why we do this, to answer these little bits and pieces. So, yep.
Yeah, at some point we're going to have to put the chat into the after show videos or something, because I'm always in chat, especially in the after show, hanging out with people. But I do have another question, though, that actually we didn't get to in the main show that I love asking to our guests. And that would be, what is the #1 thing you are most looking forward to in Warlords?
Warlords of Draenor, yep.
Yes, and I want to go with Peach first for this one.
Garrisons.
Garrisons?
Garrisons?
That is the same joke answer that we got last week. You guys need to get more creative.
There's someone in our guild, and he's just really upset about Garrisons.
Why would you be upset?
He just gets really mad about it.
Really?
Because he complains about they've always said how they're working on with a bigger team than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And, points to Garrisons this is all they could do with a bigger team.
But I guess that's reasonable. They've got more people working on WoW than ever, and where they're putting their attention is Garrison.
A micro game. Yes, I love this kind of stuff.
I mean, let's be honest. There's obviously a lot more effort going into raids this tier than say went into for certain tiers in Wrath, and obviously the last tier in Cataclysm. It's blatantly obvious that raids are getting more time and attention, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what they're doing with as you level, getting little additions to your ability is pretty cool. So that when you level up, you actually feel like something's changed instead of just you're 10% further until you actually get something new.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of an interesting question. His name is definitely a flavorful name, but TwerkingBot brings up, do you have to own Warlords of Draenor to play Garrisons? Do you have to buy everything to play Garrisons? I would assume, but they don't start at level. They start at level 90, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Because some people might not actually have all the games because they're not either at the level yet or they don't have enough time to play. Huh? But you do.
Can only build them
said no.
in the. Yeah, you can only build them in the.
We do not. We need
expansion zones.
Yeah. Dang. Dang. I see. And Novel says, they put their time into giving people more stuff to do besides raiding? Curse you, Blizzard! It's back and forth. Depends on who likes that kind of game. It's, that kind of side stuff. I think it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, personally. But what about you, Henny? What are you looking forward to in 6.0?
I think the actual sort of lore side of it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All that orc stuff, even I do play Alliance, it's going to be quite nice to see Outland before. And apart from that, the raids, if they continue to keep getting better as they have been over the last 3 tiers, then who knows what the end of the next tiers are going to be like.
Yeah.
These fights are really good, I think.
Well, it's what I've said before in previous episodes, that they have learned so much from these 3 different endgame tiers and all of the class balancing, the talent system for a whole expansion, and all this stuff, that we're really going to see a lot in 6.0. But, alright, oh my goodness, questions coming in.
I'll ask one, because one just came in chat. Again, addressed at me, but I'll address it at everybody. Throw Waffle said that I have said previously on the show that I play games a lot for their graphics, which, you know, begs the question of why I play so much WoW. But I have played games before that are really pretty and awesome. And I have actually not played RuneScape. He asked me if I've played RuneScape. The other MMOs that I've played have been, I have played a fair bit of Star Wars back in the day, back when I thought Star Wars was going to have good rating. I played some Star Wars. I've also played a bit of Rift. I try almost every MMO that comes out. I would say that the MMO that I played most before WoW was, embarrassingly enough, Ragnarok Online. The game was super awesome and super cute, and I love its little style. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm enjoying this game on my phone called Puzzles and Dragons, because it's made by...
You love that game.
Yeah, it's made by the same company that made Ragnarok Online, and there's like cute little monsters and stuff that look the same. But in order to turn this into a question for the guests, because what I was thinking was, what other games than WoW do you really enjoy? What other games do you play that you really like, or do you just really play WoW?
I think I'd play a lot more games if I had more time. Like working at those sort of hours a week doesn't really leave a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from WoW, play the occasional Dota 2 game. With just friends from the guild or friends from different guilds and stuff like that. But I'm not really sure if I like that game because it just makes me angry, and everyone gets angry at each other, and everyone starts fighting and stuff.
Isn't that the whole point of like Dota type games is to rage?
I
mean, the whole idea is to rage. Like that is the premise of the game, is that you just rage at people. That's my understanding of it. I've never had it explained to me in any better way.
I'll brofist you from across the pond. That's how I feel about League of Legends all the time. It's okay. Same deal. I want to play this game and have some fun. An hour later.
Yeah.
I'm an RPG player. I don't like to rage at people. I like to work together with people. You guys are so mean.
How are you gold? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I totally understand.
How about you, Peach? What else do you play?
Yep.
Well, I used to play Battlefield 3. I haven't gotten Battlefield 4. Maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Also a bit of Skyrim, and then when the Reaper of Souls comes out, I'll probably be playing that one too. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I hear great things from people in the beta on Reaper of Souls.
It fixed a lot of the issues with Diablo 3. I think it's still... I've watched some of the beta footage, and it definitely looks cool, but there's some gameability to it that I wonder if it'll ruin it. We'll see if that stays in after the beta. We'll see. But it looks freaking fun, and the new areas and stuff are really cool, so... We shall see.
After watching like some of the streams when they first came out, I went back and like tried Diablo 3, and it just like after a little bit you just kind of get sick of it and just want to go back and wait for River of Souls. I'll
confess on that. I actually haven't played it since like the 6-week like binge when it first came out, but a bunch of my friends went back and started playing it again, and I've been playing it like now and then. And it's actually not terrible to play with other people, because you get sort of trolly and you freak out when blue packs have like the stupidest abilities and you all start dying. It's fun in that regard, I think. But like I have friends that are like super high Paragon level, and I'm just like, how do you do that? You know, 70 plus Paragon level. What? I mean, people that are already 100 right now, obviously, and multiple 100 Paragons, like, okay. But that's so much time. So much time.
Sort of grinding the same thing over and over again, right? So I mean, I know farm is the same thing, but at least you're actually like farming WoW. At least you're actually building towards like the next tier, or
exactly.
You kind of have to do it to be relevant in the next tier. But I mean, I don't know about grinding the same act over and over again.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Special person. But people were asking for it. We're gonna take a quick moment here. And during the main show proper, we had a special message from the Fire Lord himself. He's a little powerless right now, and the crew over here at Final Boss, we've kind of like captured him and used him for our whimsy. And he was on cam. He's kind of like an unlit match right now. It's terrible. You don't want to see it. So he made a little visage of himself, and he has a message for you guys. So I will just I'll let Ragnaros. I'll just let Ragnaros tell you. It's okay.
Greetings, mortal. I have returned to present you a challenge. The December donation drive is your chance to be part of the expansion, development, and gearing of FinalBossTV. To give you some incentive, avoiding the flames of sulfur! I'll also be dropping some loot. A donation of at least $5 will get you mentioned in an official thank you video and immortalized on my Firelord's favorite Hall of Fame webpage. $15 will grant you everything previously mentioned, plus 4 of our custom FinalBossTV silicone wristbands. Donating $25 will have you immortalized and thanked with 6 wristbands. And have you seen the Final Boss t-shirts, but don't think you can afford one? We will be granting you a raffle ticket for a t-shirt giveaway. Multiple $25 donations will be accepted for additional loot raffle tickets. And finally, our $100 tier will get you everything mentioned previously, minus a raffle ticket. Why? Because you just guaranteed yourself a custom crew t-shirt, allowing you to show off your Final Boss love all over the world of Warcraft. What? Oh, I had to. Of course, if you're feeling especially generous, you can donate a custom amount and receive awesome incentives for the highest tier you qualify for. Are you up for the challenge, insects? Want to head over to the donation event page at FinalBoss.tv. A handsome elemental.
Such a charmer, that guy. Such a charmer. And I don't know, chat went crazy for it at first, and then flipped around. You guys are ridiculous. Yep. He's okay right now. I told it in the main show. He's kind of like Hades from the Hercules movie without his fire on. It's very unsightly. So it's okay. It's okay. His little popsicle stick guy is just fine. He's embarrassed. But
the t-shirts are really awesome. I actually wore mine yesterday, or else I'd be wearing it on the show today. So
really?
You should be really excited about them. Yeah, I got up late. This is like story of my life on weekends, and
goodness.
I just put the t-shirt on. But yep. the t-shirt's really cool. I guess maybe I'm biased towards mine because it has my name plastered across the back.
Well, of course, but that's what you get when you get one of the t-shirts. If you win one from the raffle, you get your name on the back. If you get one guaranteed, you get your name on the back. So it's your t-shirt. So it'll be customized for every person, women or men sizes, of course. So, Yep. So, I'll jump into a question real quick here. We had some, this one, I wanted to put as a topic as in the main show itself, but it didn't make it. So, this comes from Leafter on Stormreaver EU. And I'd like to ask about any specific add-ons which you have, or what you would suggest to find useful for healing in PvE, and if you guys know the answer on what add-ons for holy healing in PvP are useful as well. So he's trying to remember back as a holy paladin. He hasn't healed since a long time, and he's been using grid and a couple of key bindings, but he really wants some suggestions for PvE and PvP add-ons that would help him and assist him. So, do you guys have anything for Leafter?
I mean, generally it's just grid and some sort of unit frames to track your holy power. I just have mine above like a generic unit frame thing, like easily where I can see it. It helps if you have some sort of cooldown management, like tell me when or need to know. Something like that might help. It also, you can also do a lot of the boss mechanics in that as well, so you know when they're coming.
Sure.
But yeah, apart from that, it all depends on how you like to heal. If you like to heal with like a mouse over or like an on-click healing, then I mean, yeah, it's just macros from there, really.
Okay.
Now, what do you use to track raid cooldowns? I know there are several different options.
Aura 3.
Okay.
Aura 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
I hear either that one or Hermes, like 90% of the time.
They're basically the same, really.
Okay. And Peach, what about you? For 10-man, do you use anything out of the ordinary for tracking stuff?
I don't think so. I like using weak auras, and then I use Voodoo instead of Grid. But they do pretty similar
Oh,
stuff.
you're one of the voodoo healers.
Yeah,
I know
voodoo.
a lot of healers that I know speak very highly of that add-on. I feel like it's a love or hate kind of thing.
Yeah, I use that as well.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anything
Okay.
specific that it does that's like way more convenient than just using mouse over macros and grid?
Well, it lets you set up like the click to cast and mouse servers just using Voodoo.
Oh.
It also has some pretty nice debuff settings. I like it for that too.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, most of the debuffs from the tier are already in it when you download on patch day. So I'm pretty sure on Grid you have to add them or something, you have to enable them or something like that, but on that add-on it's just automatically on, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another thing you don't have to do before raid, which is really convenient if you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. Do you have one, Anna, or I'll go for another one from the email?
No, I don't. But somebody did just comment on my cup, and I'm going to show it off. This one's the Wrath. Everyone always comments on my cup. It's like they've never seen the show before. I always use the World of Warcraft cups after the show, and this one is the Wrath of the Lich King one. So I think last time I used the Cataclysm one.
Yes, I do believe.
But these are the cups that were sold at certain gas stations, and my raid leader got a whole bunch for everyone in the guild who wanted them, and then we all just like PayPal'd him some money, and he sent them to us. But I love them, even though it's like the size of my head. So it's a little bit big, but
Yeah.
But the cups are really awesome. So, yeah, you should be admiring them.
Mm-hmm. So this one is sort of a overall Paladin one. I think Anna might be answering this a little more, but this came from Naomi on Sylvanas.
Oh, me answering Paladin questions?
Oh, I know, terrible. But so Naomi's a fellow Paladin on Sylvanas EU. Wants to ask, what's your opinion of the Retribution Paladin rotation? And since Paladin is apparently Blizzard's little pearl, then what do you think of it? Is the Paladin class like kind of average right now, or in a bad place, good place?
I don't know about that phrasing.
Yeah?
I really like the Retribution Paladin rotation. I've been a Paladin since I'm a Wrath baby, so I don't have any real opinion of Paladins in Vanilla and BC because I didn't play then, so chat can judge away. But I started playing in Wrath, and Retribution was basically the most boring spec in the game at that time. It sucked.
Bad, yeah.
It was bad. It was just bad. I had never played Retribution. That's why I was prot, just because both of the rotations sucked, and tanking was more interesting. Then when they gave us Holy Power, it became a lot more interesting because it was more of a sort of a 2-level priority system since you're using Holy Power as well. It's a priority, but the priority changes very dynamically. And I like that quite a bit. It's a far cry from like 96969, which was the prot rotation back in Wrath. And so I actually actively enjoy the Retribution rotation. I like that I have utility spells, and I like that I cast quite a few spells in my rotation. I like that the AE rotation is different, finally, and I like our 4-piece. Our 4-piece adds another proc to the rotation that lets us use Divine Storm in our single target rotation. So it brings the number of spells that we cast up to 6 or 7 in a single target rotation, which I think is very dynamic with regard to how other classes play. I know I cast a heck of a lot more spells than I do on my Ally Shaman.
Yeah.
And prot is even more complicated. I think that prot paladins have one of the best rotations in the game. I know people talk about feral druids very admiringly, and I think that they may just be remembering like the John Madden rotation from Wrath.
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
I don't know if ferals are really that way anymore. But the prot paladin rotation is really great.
Whoa.
I know one of the tanks that I follow had a feral alt and a prot paladin main, and he used to think his prot rotation was boring and his feral rotation was interesting. And then when Mop launched, he was like, "What happened? Blizzard switched it around. Now my prot rotation is like John Madden, and my feral rotation is boring." So the prot, I mean, basically just the specs that I play leave me with very interesting rotations in both ways. Holy Power is even better with prot than it is with ret. So there's my long answer to that question. I actively like the Retribution rotation, and I think if people are saying it's easy, then it's probable that they're just saying what they've heard a whole lot, because it did used to be easy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they've only played ret a little bit. But I wouldn't call it hard, but it's dynamic. I think that's the best way to describe it. It changes all the time. It is very dynamic.
Fair enough.
So there you go. That's I don't know if that question was just directed to me or was directed to everybody, but I enjoy it.
It was just a Paladin question. We have 3 Paladins in the show, so...
Yeah. I actively enjoy the rotations for my class, and that is not something that was true until this expansion for both of them.
Yeah.
And I like them both now. I don't use CLC Ret. Actually, that's a very topical question from Grondath in chat. I used to use CLC Ret, especially when Ret was my off-spec. I actually used to be main spec prot. I was main spec prot for a long time, which is why a lot of people know me from Sacred Duty and from asking the tank vengeance question in 2010. Yep. I was a tank for a long time. And when I went Ret as my off-spec, I'm very much about not assuming that I'm perfect at every class. When I went Ret for my off-spec, I mean, you better be sure that I was giving myself as many legs up as I could to perform to the best of my ability. And I absolutely did use CLC Ret to tell me what to cast next. Obviously, you shouldn't go by exactly what those add-ons say, especially because there are so many fights that involve more than one target that you should be dynamically deciding whether to cleave or whether to single target at any given time, when to use your cooldowns, etc., and when to use your ranged abilities and when to use your melee ones. Yeah. So I used to use CLC Ret. I wouldn't say that I followed every one of its suggestions, but I used it to inform myself about what the highest priority ability was. I don't use it now because I've been Ret for so long that it's really just muscle memory at this point. Like I basically know what I'm going to cast next, and I don't know if I can really explain it. I know how my holy power generators work. I have a feel for what all of their cooldowns are. My UI is good and tells me what's up. And I know what I'm going to cast, and I know when my procs are because I have weak auras that are, that function, that aren't stupid. So I don't use CLC Ret anymore. I've thought about installing it, and I'm like, I'm not sure if this would improve my play, so I don't really think it's needed. So, sorry. There you go. That's the answer to that question.
That's the answer to that question. I was going to turn that around, though, because with a builder-spender system, sort of like what Holy Paladins have, do you almost feel like you have to prep for almost like a rotation with you guys? Do you know I'm going to cast Divine Light, Shock, this, Divine Light, Shock, Divine Light, this? Do you ever feel that way, or do you just react and just kind of go with whatever comes up?
Pretty much just Holy Shock on cooldown and then Radiance, and depending on if it's just a single player or anything like that, and then just use your finisher, basically. You don't really need a add-on or anything to tell you to use shock and cooldown. But yeah, I suppose you could, but
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Not be a lot of point.
Yeah, I went over the add-ons and stuff too, so I think we covered pretty much everything. Peach, everything else to close with, or I'm gonna grab screenshots from the 3 of us. I'm gonna use your screenshot, your capture for your thumbnail, so we're good to go on that. But anything left?
With cooldowns and stuff, you kind of get the feeling for it pretty quickly. You know when your Holy Shock is coming off cooldown without even looking at it. So you just okay, I'm gonna cast this twice, and then it's off cooldown again.
Yep. I guess it all comes with... There was a question that came with the email about how does learning other healers or coming from another healing class help you learn or transition to other healing classes? Do you feel that way anyway impacts you, or doesn't really have an effect? This mostly came from because, Henny, you re-rolled from Shaman to Holy Paladin.
Yeah.
But I know because they're sort of similar, because Riptide is sort of like Holy Shock, kind of...
Yeah, so that was kind of easy for me. I used the same keybinds as I did for Riptide and Holy Shock. Yep. Same for Radiance and Chain Heal.
Chain Heal, yep.
Yeah, okay. And pretty much, Earth Shield and Beacon. It goes all the way down the board, really. Okay. I think a lot of the healing classes are like that, but there's always the spell you use on cooldown and blah blah blah.
Okay. Sounds good to me. All right, I'm gonna grab a screen capture from you, Henny. You want to give us a pose with the leather jacket or something for the thumbnail? What do you want to?
Get a pose.
Oh, can we do? Oh, what is? Okay, I can cut something out of that. Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty fun. Were you told to do that? Is that something?
I wasn't told to do that. No, I was just random pose.
Okay. All right. I can work with that. And Anna.
Yep.
Is it a cup? Cat?
No, I think I'm probably just gonna do a smile at the camera face today because I've had funny shots for the last couple. Unless you think I should do some kind of a silly pose.
Elliot's behind you, so whatever you do is fine.
All right.
It's good to go. That's fine with me. I don't know, what should I do? Should I do a funny face? I did a funny face last week. I don't even know.
I mean, we can have. I think we have a mix of funny faces and.
Yeah. My face always looks funny. Shots. I don't even know.
Yeah, maybe everyone's just always laughing at you. You just don't know.
Wow.
They're doing it in stream chat.
That's terrible.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. But, good show, everybody. I think we beat Holy Paladins into the ground, which is good. Lots of stuff out there. Because I didn't know. I mean, Ann and I even learned so much about all the classes we do on this show. I mean, maybe not with this one, because she knows everything about Paladins, apparently.
No, I don't. I mean, I really enjoy learning how the spec that I have literally no idea about functions with exactly the same mechanics that I use. So I think that I know that I had a whole lot to say on this show, but I would say this is one of my favorites recently because I love hearing how holies work, and I appreciate you guys coming on the show to educate me about how all the different spells I'm familiar with function for a different spec.
Yep, that was awesome. So, to go around the table here again real quick, Henny from ScrubBusters, thank you for being on the show, sir.
No problem.
Your posse is always entertaining.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I opened the chat like halfway through this show, and I'm like, what the hell is going on in here?
They're over at ScrubBusters.com. You can find them over there. But thank you again. Yep. And Peach from Nightmare Asylum. Thank you very much for being here tonight, sir.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
Great opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Anna-Feel?
Yeah.
Always. Great to see you. And where did Kitty go? Dang, I thought I was gonna get the last shot of him. No.
Oh,
nothing.
you'll see. I mean, you'll see him in the future shows. So everybody, come back and hang out. And I love that we had so many people in chat, keeping everything interesting. And like I've said before, a whole lot of the time, the Twitch chat can be a kind of a negative and not so much fun place. And people are like, oh man, Twitch chat, it's got so much trash and stuff, and I appreciate that our chat is always really fun, and I have fun hanging out with everybody who comes to watch the show. So thanks, guys. This is just going out to the people in chat. Thanks for being cool.
But next Sunday, again, Moonkins, 1 PST, 4 EST, 10 CET, Zoomkins +1 confirmed so far, because we had to reschedule this like literally yesterday, but we'll have to move them to later. And then the 22nd of December and the 29th of December are both special episodes, with extra emphasis on the 22nd. That's all I'll say. So everyone from behind the scenes right now in the Final Boss crew, and for the Fire Lord himself, you guys have a great one, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Yep, see you guys later.